vacuum still works by the boiling of water. The water then passes up through the still into the sample compartment and bubbles through the sample. The steam carries volatile acids up through the still, out the side arm, and eventually to a condenser. The volatile acids, along with the steam, condense in the condenser and are collected in a distillate flask. Prepare a receival flask by adding approximately 50 ml of water to a 250 ml conical flask. Then add 3 to 4 drops of phenolphthalein indicator. Then add 1 drop of 0.05 molar sodium hydroxide until a pink colour is obtained and persists. More drops can be added if required. Then place the receival flasks, 4 that have been prepared, underneath the condensers as shown. Check that all outlet tubing is in the sink. Turn the condenser tap on at an appreciable flow rate. Check with the demonstrator on the water flow rate and keep checking that it continues to flow during the analysis. Open the clip to the inlet tubing to the glass boiler. This will let water into the boiler until the max fill line is reached. Once the max fill line is reached, tighten up the metal clip so that no further water goes into the boiler. If too much water goes in the boiler, blue tube clamp number 1 can be opened to let water out. Remember to do the clamp up again once sufficient water has been let out from the boiler. Accurately add 10 ml of sample or water as a blank to each of the 4 stills. Then add 1 ml of 0.3% hydrogen peroxide. The hydrogen peroxide oxidizes sulfur dioxide to sulfuric acid so it doesn't interfere with the measurement. Turn the power onto the VA unit and press the reset button. After a while, water in the boiler will begin to boil. The sample stopper can be removed to allow sample to enter the still. Then around 10 ml of water used to wash residual sample into the still as well. The sample will now be in the internal chamber of the VA still. The boiling water in the still generates steam. The steam makes its way up into the outer chamber of the still. From here it makes its way up further until it passes in an internal arm to the internal chamber of the still. It passes through the sample. The steam passes through the sample more vigorously until it appears to look like this. The hot steam carries with it the volatile acids up into the upper part of the chamber. Initially we can see them as an oily type of residue, particularly if there's lots of volatile acids. These volatile acids make their way through the side arm of the still and to a condenser, where they cool along with steam and become a liquid.
Yes, 5 o'clock.
The liquid is run down the end of the condenser and tubing until it reaches our distillate container. We continue collecting distillate until we collect around 125 ml. So combined with the 50 ml of water that was already in the flask, we collect a total of 175 ml. Turn the power off to the unit when enough distillate has been collected. Then take the distillate container and titrate with 0.05 molar sodium hydroxide back to a pink colour, remembering to record your start and end titration volumes and calculate your overall titration volume. You want the pink colour to be maintained in solution for around 30 seconds. Be aware that the pink colour will fade over time. To calculate the volatile acidity, which will be in units of grams per litre acetic acid equivalents, we take our average sample titration value from the analysis of the same wine, and from that we subtract our average blank titration from the analysis of a water sample. And the difference between these two we multiply by the concentration of sodium hydroxide, which is typically 0.050 molar, and we also multiply by 6. To clean the still, open the metal clip, allowing water to enter the boiler. As the boiler cools, it creates a vacuum, sucking the sample from the inner chamber to the outer chamber. Open the second blue tube clamp to allow sample from the outer chamber to go to waste, as we can see here. Let water into the still, each of the 4 stills. If the water doesn't siphon out automatically as the system cools down, get the aquarium pump to blow some air, a gentle stream of air, into each of the condensers. And this should force the rinse water from the inner chamber of the still to the outer chamber of the still. Once in the outer chamber of the still, we can remove this again by opening the second blue hose clamp.